I'm just going to give you a little update around our homestead here. And as you can see, it is April and it's still covered in snow. Those little trellises out there are about 4 feet tall, so I still got about 2 feet of snow, 2 to 3 feet of snow on my lawn, which is my garden. It's not hopeful for starting food. Well, I could probably do some spinach anytime soon, but I do have to do something with my soil because my soil got ruined last year, as well as I lost one of my favorite grapevines, which was heartbreaking. It was an heirloom purple grape. I love the juice from those grapes, but a neighbor's cat who was sick determined to use my raised beds as his litter box, probably because it was sick, and cats tend to not want to use their own litter when they know they're sick, because the neighbor didn't believe me that the cat had diarrhea, but it was doing it over here. So I have to do something with my soil. It's become quite acidic. So yeah, I have to remedy that before I can even think about starting out spinach. Now, we did spend the whole day yesterday cutting down trees and limbing out branches, which I absolutely hate to do, but I had to open up to let more sunshine come in. This is the first bit of sun now we've seen in a few days, but I needed some more sunshine to come in to get that snow melted. In the meantime, I'm trying to do some things to get some fresh produce around the house. During all of this, it's been very difficult to get fresh produce. So I'm starting to grow some different things in the house. I just started out my seed trays, and I made my own potting soil. And I do have a video on that. I forgot that I did, as a few people asked me for potting soil recipes. And this one's pretty simple. It's just worm castings, sand, and I actually had buckwheat hulls left over from a pillow. So I put those in to lighten up the soil. You can pretty much use, if you have like a lot of, say, you eat sunflower seeds or any kind of like shell bits, or yeah, you can use anything to lighten up the soil. And I just happen to have this pillow since about 2012. And it still has plenty of buckwheat hulls in it, so I made the same soil again. I'll link to the soil recipe in the description box below. And that was back when I had my roosters, so I can see him in the back of the video. Anyway, and then what I'm doing here, and I posted this many years ago. Now I know there's a ton of videos out there that are showing you how to do this, but I posted one of the first videos showing how to grow things from stumps and scraps and things around your house. So I did have green onions that I had from the grocery store, so I planted the roots, and I've been cutting these for a couple of weeks now. They just keep growing up, which is fantastic. Arugula is very fast growing, so I planted the arugula seeds and I just scattered them in here, and now what I'm doing is thinning them out for microgreens, and then they will just grow into full-size arugula here. I also seeded out some of those Zen basil seeds, the Zen basil for the drink. So I just seeded those out here for basil seeds, and they're viable and they work really great, so they're coming up. And I planted the stumps of my lettuce. I will link all the videos, and you know, I apologize, these are older and they had, you know, crappy beginnings on them because that was the thing back then. Just skip over that, but I'll post a bunch of my videos below for the different seeds and stumps and scraps and all that, because I also talk about the herbs and spices that you have in your cupboard and how you can use those to grow plants as well, because I know the seed houses are running out of seed. I don't know, I guess they'll restock them, but there's several that are shut down, and there's a lot of them that are out of stock in a lot of different seeds. So that's going to be an issue as well, trying to find seed. I actually, for the first time, had to order non-organic seed, but you don't really have to worry too much about seed houses selling genetically modified seed. Genetically modified seeds usually require the farmer to sign, you know, some paperwork and all that. So what you are looking for, though, and what you do have to be concerned about is treatments. So if you're looking for seed and you can't get organic, look for open pollinated, heirlooms are best, and untreated seed. So then I'll move over and I started some sprouts, because sprouts are a great way to get a nutrient punch in a small amount. So like a few little sprouts have more nutrients in them than like a head of lettuce. So You can put a little sprinkle of sprouts on your sandwiches and things like that. And you can get a nice pack of nutrients there. Now these were some really old sprouting seeds that I had, so I wasn't very it wasn't very promising that they would sprout, but I do see some of them starting to sprout. It appears that the fenugreek seeds are sprouting, but the other ones are not, so this may not work out, this sprout blend. And this is the lid. I also showed that in a video. Don't think you need a video, just take a plastic lid and drill a bunch of holes in it with a Dremel power tool, and you have yourself a sprouting lid for free. Another way to make a sprouting lid is to use a mason jar and some of that mesh from a garlic bag, like the little meshy bags, but this has to be for large sprouts only, like mung beans and lentils and peas. You can try any of the dry goods you have, try sprouting them. Now what I'm doing here, and this is one of my favorite sprouts, is popcorn sprouts. Now popcorn, any organic popcorn, should be viable if it's not too old. When they sprout, they are fantastic. They taste like a fresh sweet corn with a little bit of an underlying earthy and green flavor. So I love them, but they do take a while. So you just essentially rinse them I leave them next to the sink so I can rinse them a few times a day as I pass by. Rinse them, drain them, and then I just turn them upside down here. So sprouting is pretty easy to do, and there's many different things you can try. Now also what I will do with some of these sprouts, probably at this point, is plant them, because I'll know now which ones are viable, because you can see the little growth coming out on the viable one there. And then I can pick out the few of the viable ones and plant them so that I can grow my own corn, popping corn from the sprouted kernels. So I'll just push them in the ground with the little tongue side down. It doesn't really matter, it'll find its way up anyway, but I tend to use the little tongue side pushed down because that's like a little root, and put them in the soil. And like I said, I've just pushed them in any direction sometimes, and it just doesn't matter. So, but I'll have fresh popcorn sprouts, and I'll also have popcorn for planting. I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to get the full 120 days here, so I'll probably be planting these in containers so that I can take them into the house when it's too windy or when it starts to get cold. Now, one of my favorites are mung beans, and these are up in the cupboard because they prefer to sprout in dark areas. And again, I did the same thing with the garlic bag mesh, and these have only been a few days, and actually I'm really surprised. This is the Mums sprouting seeds, and again, most of those are out of stock on their website. So I dug out an old bag that I had that must be like 8 years old, and I wasn't thinking that they would sprout, but pretty much every one of them have. So I'll be rinsing these. This was only a couple tablespoons of beans, and as you can see, this 1 liter jar is now almost half full. By the time the 1 liter jar is full, I will dump them out into a colander and rinse them. I usually spray them down with a little bit of apple cider vinegar, let them sit a few minutes, and then rinse them really well and drain them, and then they go in the fridge, and they're great for salads, sandwiches, whatever. I'm going to keep those in the dark because they'll get longer and they'll stay whiter in the dark. And what else? So I have another empty, waiting for my seeds to come, because again, Canada Post has been very delayed. We had some issue with a virus in our sorting facility, and it looks like a lot of orders. I've ordered some food online, and there's going to be like a month before I get it. So I just have my trays ready for when my seeds do arrive, and I did do out my peppers and tomatoes. So the peppers and tomatoes, most of these are from seeds I collected from my own. My favorite probably is the white currant. Now, this one came from a seed pack, and I haven't tried this one yet, and that's Muscovich. There's Roma. This, I don't know what it was, but it grew outdoors and it grew large. So I just called it my large outdoor tomato and my large black tomato. We don't normally have good conditions to grow tomatoes outdoors except for the Lata tomato. And if you're here locally, you can get some of those starts at the O Farm. Mike Robinowitz's O Farm in Portugal Cove. He'll have seedling starts probably in the next month or so. And then this is the actress pepper, paprika pepper, and a new one I'm trying, which is early jalapeno. My husband found some organic seed on sale and brought them home to me, so I'm going to try that because they are an early variety. And happy growing. I know a lot of you have good growing conditions outdoors right now, so I'm envious of that. But try to grow your own food. Try to eat healthy, nice, fresh fruits and veggies as much as you can, and keep that immune system up.